you do the voice. You know the one. That ridiculous, sing-song, high-pitched voice you'd be mortified for anyone to overhear. The one you use only with your dog or your cat when you're certain no one's listening. Who's the best boy? Yes, you are. You have photos of them on your phone you'd honestly save before your own. You've canceled plans to stay home with them. And if you've ever lost one, you know the specific, flattening grief that hit far harder than you expected, and the strange little shame of crying that much over, in someone else's words, just a pet. And that phrase, just a pet, is exactly the problem. Because people who don't feel it love to dismiss the people who do. They'll tell you it's a substitute for real relationships, that you're lonely, that it's a little sad, a little much. But here's what the science actually says, and it turns the whole thing completely on its head. The bond you feel with your animal is not a substitute for anything. It is one of the most biologically real forms of love a human being can experience. And the people calling it just a pet simply have no idea what's happening inside your brain. Let's start with the single, most remarkable piece of research on this, because once you understand it, everything else makes sense. In 2015, a team of Japanese researchers led by Takefumi Kikusui ran a study on what happens, chemically, when a dog and its owner simply look into each other's eyes. And what they found is extraordinary. When you gaze at your dog, and your dog gazes back at you, both of you get a surge of a hormone called oxytocin. Now, oxytocin is not just any chemical. It is the bonding hormone. It's the exact same chemical that floods through a new mother and her baby when they lock eyes for the first time. It's the molecule of attachment, of love, of you are mine and I am yours. And here's the staggering part. That mother and infant gaze loop, that sacred biological circuit that builds the deepest bond humans know, your dog triggers the very same one. In you and in itself at the same time. Dogs, over thousands of years, essentially hacked into the human parent-child bonding system. So when it feels like your pet is family, understand, biologically, your brain is not pretending. It's running the actual machinery of love. And this isn't just a chemical fluke. It points to something deeper, something psychologists call attachment. There's a whole field of psychology built around attachment theory, the study of the bonds that make us feel safe. And it describes two things every secure attachment provides: a safe haven, someone you go to for comfort when you're distressed, and a secure base, a steady presence that makes you feel safe enough to face the world. For most of human history, those roles were filled by parents, then partners, then close friends. But research has shown, again and again, that pets fill those exact same roles. When you're upset, you seek out your animal. When they're near, you feel calmer, steadier, braver. They are a safe haven and a secure base, which means your pet is not a stand-in for an attachment figure. By every definition psychology has, your pet is a real one. The relationship isn't fake or lesser. It's the genuine article. But here's where it gets really interesting, because there's a reason this particular bond can feel even purer, even safer, than the ones we have with other people. Think about what makes human love complicated: the judgment, the betrayal, the hidden agendas, the keeping of score, the way someone can know your flaws and use them against you. Now think about your pet. Your dog does not care about your job title. Your cat has no opinion on your weight, your bank account, or the embarrassing thing you said in 2014. They don't judge you. They don't lie to you. They will never betray you or grow cold or decide you're not worth the effort. Psychologists call this kind of acceptance unconditional positive regard, and it is something humans crave desperately and almost never receive in full. But a pet gives it freely, every single day. So for anyone who has ever been hurt, betrayed, or judged by other people, and that's most of us, the love of an animal isn't a lesser love. It's something rarer. It's love with the armor taken off. It's the only relationship many people have ever had where they feel completely, unconditionally safe. Now, here's the part that's almost unbelievable, because it turns out this bond was no accident. It was engineered by evolution on both sides. Dogs didn't just wander into our lives and get lucky. Over tens of thousands of years of living alongside us, They evolved specifically to bond with humans. They learned to read our faces, to follow where we point, to understand our emotions better than almost any other species. And then there's this. A 2019 study found that dogs evolved an entirely new facial muscle that wolves don't have. A small muscles near the eyes whose only real job is to raise their inner eyebrows. That's the muscle behind the puppy dog eyes, that irresistible, slightly sad, pleading look. Think about that. Dogs literally evolved a muscle in their face for the sole purpose of triggering the caregiving instinct in us. And it works because of something called the baby schema, our deep automatic response to big eyes, round faces, and helplessness. The same response that makes us melt over a human infant. A pet, in a sense, is a perpetual baby, keeping our nurturing instinct switched on for its entire life. So you didn't choose to fall this hard for your animal. The bond was wired into both of you, across thousands of years, on purpose. And that bond isn't just emotionally powerful, it's measurably, physically good for you. When you pet an animal, your body lowers its levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, while raising oxytocin and the feel-good chemicals that lift your mood. Your blood pressure drops. Your nervous system settles. This is so well documented that the American Heart Association has noted that owning a pet, especially a dog, is associated with a reduced risk of heart disease. Pets lower loneliness, ease anxiety, and pull people through some of the hardest seasons of their lives. So the attachment that other people roll their eyes at, that thing they call a little much, is, by the actual numbers, calming your body, protecting your heart, and quietly healing you every single day you come home to them. But here's where it gets the most personal, and where the depth of this bond shows itself most painfully. When a pet dies, the grief is real. Sometimes it's as intense as losing a person. And given everything we've just covered, of course it is. You've lost a genuine attachment figure, a daily source of unconditional love, a piece of family. And yet the world so often refuses to honor it. It was just a dog. You can get another one. People are expected back at work the next day, dry-eyed as if nothing happened. There's actually a name for this, for grief that society won't acknowledge as legitimate. It's called disenfranchised grief, and it's its own special cruelty. Because not only are you mourning a real loss, but you're being told that your pain doesn't count. So if you've ever been absolutely leveled by the death of a pet, and then felt ashamed of how hard you were crying, please hear this. You were not overreacting. You were grieving a real bond, exactly as deeply as your brain was built to. The shame was never yours to carry. So here's what I actually want you to take from all of this. Loving your pet deeply does not mean you're lonely, broken, childish, or substituting for human connection. The science could not be clearer. That bond runs on the very same neurochemistry as human love. It calms your body and protects your health. And it's often purer than human relationships. Precisely because it comes with no judgment and no agenda. If anything, the ability to love an animal that completely isn't a sign that you can't connect with people. It's proof of just how much love you have inside you to give. Your pet was never just a pet. By every real measure your brain and body can produce, they are family. The world is welcome to call it just an animal. Your oxytocin and your grief and the ridiculous little voice you do when no one's listening all know far better. If this hit home, go ahead and subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel. And if you want to support these deeper dives, hit the join button to become a member. I'll see you in the next one.